membasuh kaki anak manusia, bathing the feet of the Son of God, the Son of Man, full of dust of the 20th century, dragging the weight of dreams from Sodom and Gomorrah. And so in the 70s, he has a way of identifying with a sinful figure who is nevertheless loved by God. And this is what we need to do sometimes, to identify with figures, with saints, holy people. Mary Magdalene, St. Peter. Remember in the poem about Cathedral de Chartres, the thing that really sets his awareness going is the sound of the rooster crowing. And he doesn't tell you why it sets the awareness going, but you will know, and we will know, at 3 o'clock in the morning, the rooster crowed 3 times, and St. Peter went outside and wept. Okay. He refers to that, but through this identification of St. Peter, there's a way of identifying, of seeking some sort of resurrection as well. Having sort of come to this point of loneliness, separation, of beginning to find images in which he can re-express his religious quest, then he begins to come in the late 80s back to God, back to a more church experience. And so we can pray to God. It doesn't work. Okay, try silence. Just be quiet, just listen. And this is self-acceptance, as well as coming into this, obviously, that he's not scared now to be out there on his own. He's been through this long political career, he's been through this prison, he's been through this excess. He says, I can accept who I am, I can accept silence. I can accept myself, and I can accept my love for others. And one poem, the law of love, he says, love each other as you love yourself. It's this verse that love your neighbor as yourself. And what it says is you have to love yourself first. We always think, oh, I have to love my neighbor as myself. But I really don't like me very much. And then, how can we like our neighbors? Okay, so the commandment is to actually accept yourself. Like yourself, be who you are, what you are. This is how you were made. And Sito comes to this discovery. Having been through this turmoil, coming back to a religion that has no shape, has no form, has no names, has no images, then he comes back to this. And at the end of that same poem on the law of love, he quotes, Kemana kau pergi, ke sana aku pergi. Di mana kau tinggal, di sana aku tinggal. Bangsamu akan menjadi bangsaku, Tuhanmu akan menjadi Tuhanku. Kemana kau pergi, ke sana aku pergi. Where you go, I will go. Said, whom? Where you live, there I will live. Ruth. Yes. Some Ruth. Took a mother-in-law. Naomi. Where you go, I will go. Where you live, I will live. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. Before, wherever I went, you weren't. And the you was God. But it was also other people, because there were not other people there. Now wherever Sito goes, you are there, and the acceptance is there. And so there's a quietness. There's acceptance of God in all forms, all shapes. So we come to this process of returning. Different belief, different understanding, rephrasing the previous belief. We have a poem in 1989 where he goes back to the Cathedral de Chartres. in the church, I want to read again the message in the pictures on the glass, colored with mystic light, floating above the smoke of the incense and the mumble of the prayers, filling the space, the display of the drama. Jesus is crucified. When I am a child. Where? When I'm playing at Lake Toba. The actors, poor fishermen, my people, my mother. And the poem concludes in this very mysterious way. Standing on the balcony of the cathedral, Ia, I see Ia, third person pronoun, Mung Hilang, vanish in the midst of all the people. Indonesian pronouns, very difficult to translate for English speakers because they're not gendered. I don't know if you have Filipino, a third person pronoun that can use for men or women.
Yes.
Yeah. And so when you translate into English, you have a choice.
Context.
Yeah, it depends on the context. If you know the context, it's easy. If you don't know the context,
You're on your own.
exactly. Okay, it might be a man loves a woman, it might be two men love each other, it might be two women love each other. You can hide these sort of things in the poem. But standing on the balcony of the cathedral, I see that one disappear into all the people. So is that one Christ, who has now become incarnate in all these human beings? Is it the woman that he loved in 1955? And he says in another poem that she's dead by this point. So she has vanished. That sin has gone, that guilt has gone. He's old. There's reconciliation there. So who vanishes? But obviously this piece of old age comes on Sito. There's some advantages in getting old, guys. Don't be too scared. Let me conclude, and all I've done is read poems and talked about poems. So Christian themes, although present in a small number of his poems, they carry some intense emotional weight, significance, and they also carry some profound ideas about the complexity, the growing understanding of religious not understanding. Does that make sense?